Anemia is a condition that happens when the body doesn't have enough red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. This can leave your child feeling tired, weak, and less energetic. But the signs aren't always easy to spot, especially if you're not sure what to look for. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 major signs that your child might have anemia. These are must-know symptoms for every parent. If you recognize any of them in your child, it's important to talk to your doctor and get the right diagnosis and treatment. The earlier anemia is detected, the easier it is to treat. The first sign is fatigue. Now, I know kids can get tired for all kinds of reasons, but when it comes to anemia, the fatigue is different. It's not just being tired after a busy day or a long week. This kind of fatigue seems constant. Your child might look more tired than usual, or they might be complaining that they're feeling exhausted, even after a full night's sleep. If your child used to be active and energetic, but now seems to get tired much more quickly, this could be a red flag. Anemia causes this because there aren't enough red blood cells to carry oxygen around the body. Oxygen is what fuels the body's energy, so when it's low, energy levels drop. If you notice that your child is often more tired than other kids their age, or they're struggling to keep up during playtime or sports, you should definitely pay attention to that. The second sign is pale skin. This can be tricky because all kids have different natural skin tones, but if you notice that your child's skin seems lighter than usual or even has a yellowish tint, it could be a sign of anemia. Anemia causes the skin to look pale because there's less blood flow near the surface of the skin when the red blood cell count is low. You'll want to look closely at areas like the face, lips, gums, and the inside of the lower eyelids. If those areas look paler than normal, it's a good idea to consult a doctor. The same goes for their fingernails. If they're unusually pale, it's another indicator that something might be off with their red blood cells. The third symptom to watch for is shortness of breath. If your child is getting winded easily after only a little bit of activity, this could be linked to anemia. You might notice them breathing harder or faster than usual, or they may even tell you they feel like they can't catch their breath. This happens because, with anemia, the body is working harder to get oxygen into the bloodstream. When there aren't enough red blood cells to carry that oxygen around, the lungs have to work overtime. This can make even small activities feel like a big effort for your child. If you notice that your kid gets out of breath much faster than usual, or seems to have trouble keeping up with friends during physical activities, this is something to take seriously. Another sign to be aware of is headaches and dizziness. Kids with anemia often experience frequent headaches or feel dizzy, especially when they stand up too quickly. These symptoms occur because the brain isn't getting enough oxygen, which can cause these unpleasant sensations. If your child has been complaining about headaches or feeling faint, it could be linked to low oxygen levels in their blood. It's especially concerning if the headaches seem to come out of nowhere or if they're happening more often than usual. Dizziness or lightheadedness when standing up quickly can be another indicator that something's not quite right with their red blood cells. The fifth sign is irritability or mood swings. You might not think that anemia could affect your child's mood, but it can. When kids are feeling tired and low on energy, they may become more irritable or cranky than usual. They might have trouble focusing in school, and you might notice changes in their behavior at home. Anemia can make them feel sluggish, both mentally and physically, which could lead to frustration. If your child is acting out more than usual or seems more emotional or moody, it's worth considering whether this could be linked to anemia. Behavior changes are often one of the first clues that something is off, even before more obvious physical symptoms appear. So just to recap, the 5 signs that your child might have anemia are fatigue, pale skin, shortness of breath, headaches or dizziness, and irritability or mood changes. These symptoms can sometimes be easy to overlook because they can also be caused by other things. But if you're noticing more than one of these signs, or if the symptoms are sticking around for a while, it's definitely time to see a doctor. Anemia is more common than you might think, especially in kids, and it's often caused by an iron deficiency, which means their body isn't getting enough iron to make healthy red blood cells. But the good news is that once anemia is diagnosed, it's usually treatable. If you suspect that your child might have anemia, the first step is to get them checked by a healthcare professional. They'll likely recommend a blood test to check your child's red blood cell count and iron levels. Depending on the type of anemia, treatments can vary. Iron deficiency anemia, which is the most common type in children, is often treated with iron supplements and changes in diet. Foods that are rich in iron include meat, beans, spinach, and iron-fortified cereals. Your doctor might also suggest vitamin C-rich foods like oranges, strawberries, or bell peppers, as vitamin C helps the body absorb iron better. Some children are at a higher risk for developing anemia anemia than others. For instance, kids who are picky eaters might not be getting enough iron from their diet. Children who are going through growth spurts also need more iron, which their diet might not always provide. Kids with certain health conditions like chronic infections or digestive problems can also be more prone to anemia. If your child falls into any of these groups, you'll want to be extra vigilant about watching for the signs we've discussed. In rare cases, anemia can be caused by more serious health issues, such as blood disorders or chronic diseases. That's why it's so important not to ignore the symptoms. Even if you think your child's symptoms might be due to something else, it's always better to check. Early detection is key, and the sooner anemia is identified, the easier it is to manage. Anemia can also affect your child's school performance. If they're struggling to concentrate or seem more tired and disengaged during class, it could be due to fatigue from anemia. The lack of oxygen flowing to their brain can make it harder to focus, remember things, and stay alert. This can be frustrating for kids, as they might not understand why they're feeling so tired and unable to keep up. If you've noticed a sudden drop in your child's school performance, alongside other symptoms like fatigue or irritability, it might be worth considering anemia as a possible cause. Another sign of anemia that many people don't know about is unusual cravings. Some kids with anemia develop what's called pica, which is the craving for non-food items like dirt, ice, or even paper. This might seem odd, but it's actually a fairly common symptom of iron deficiency anemia. If you notice your child showing interest in eating things that aren't food, this is definitely something you should mention to your doctor. It's important to note that anemia doesn't always show up in a big, dramatic way. Sometimes the symptoms are subtle and can develop gradually. This is why it's so important to pay attention to your child's overall health and well-being. If you notice small changes in their energy levels, behavior, or appearance, it could be the body's way of signaling that something is off. Trust your instincts as a parent. You know your child better than anyone, and if something doesn't feel right, it's always better to err on the side of caution. Anemia can also weaken your child's immune system, making them more susceptible to infections. If your child seems to be getting sick more often than usual, or if they're having trouble recovering from common illnesses like colds, this could be related to anemia. The body relies on red blood cells to help fight off infections, so when the red blood cell count is low, it can take longer for the immune system to bounce back. If your child has been sick more often than usual, or if they're taking longer to recover from illnesses, this could be another sign that their red blood cells are low. So there you have it, 5 major signs that your child might have anemia. If you notice any of these symptoms in your child, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare provider. Anemia is often treatable, and with the right care, your child can start feeling better and get back to their usual energetic self. Remember, early detection is key, so it's always better to get checked out if you're concerned. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful parenting tips. Stay healthy and take care.